Hello, my name is Mackenzie Toole. I want to thank you in advance for listening to my presentation on Andrew F. Huxley. Today you will be learning about Andrew F. Huxley. I will be giving you some background knowledge on his family and education, as well as some insight to his career overall, involving his inventions, discoveries, and advancements within science. Also, his colleagues involving the Nobel Prize and as to why it was won, his contributions to the war effort, and some interesting facts along the way. Some need-to-know basic information is that his full name is Sir Andrew Fielding Huxley. He is an English biophysicist and physiologist. He was born November 22, 1970 in Hampstead, London. He then passed away at the age of 94 on May 30, 2012, and was best known for winning the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine and his explanation on how muscle fibers contract. Most people believe that Andrew Huxley was destined for greatness due to how extraordinary his family was. On the right, there are 6 pictures with a few of his family members. The first picture is Julia Huxley, which is his mother. She was a British scholar and founded the Prior's Field School for Girls. The second picture on the right is Thomas Henry Huxley, which is Andrew Huxley's grandfather. He was known as Darwin's bulldog, which is due to his advocacy of Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. The third picture is Sir Crispin Tekle. He was a British diplomat, environmentalist, and academic. The fourth picture is Elspeth Jocelyn Huxley. She was an English author, journalist, broadcaster, environmentalist, government advisor, and wrote over 40 books in her lifetime. The fifth picture is Aldous Leonard Huxley. He was an English writer and philosopher. Last but not least, the sixth picture on the right is John Maler Collier. He was a British painter and writer. Andrew Huxley took his education very serious and took no breaks whatsoever. From 1925 to 1930, he attended University College School and was a King's Scholar. From there, he went to Westminster School and attended from 1930 to 1935. It was here that he was inspired by a physiology and science professor named J.F. Ruddick to change from classic sciences to physical sciences. He then applied for a Trinity College, Cambridge, and won a scholarship for natural sciences. He attended this school from 1935 to 1938. He then became a member of the Natural Science Club, and here he made an unintentional, life-altering decision. Due to an elective needing to be filled, Huxley chose physiology and ended up being so fascinated by it that he changed his major from engineering to physiology. By taking this class, he then met Alan Hodgkin, which was a tutor at the time, but will then later become one of his partners in crime. From 1946 to 1951, Huxley's first physiological experiment was alongside Alan Hodgkin's, who was his former tutor when he attended Cambridge. Their theory was that if a single neuron can be explained with math, then the same could possibly be true for the entire brain system as a whole. With this, Huxley and Hodgkin succeeded with making electrophysiological recordings by using a nerve cell from a giant squid known as giant axon. This is the largest cell found in any living creature. This was done by inserting microelectrodes into the nerve cell and seeing the difference on both ends as the electrical current was sent. This experiment helped explain how an electrical impulse travels from one end of the cell to another. This was a groundbreaking advancement in the progress of science. Due to the collaborative discovery in 1952 on unraveling the mechanism of nerve impulses, which is also known as action potential, Alan Hodgkins, Sir John Eccles, and Andrew Huxley all won the Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine in 1963. Alan Hodgkins was a part of it due to his hypothesis, and Sir John Eccles helped with synaptic signaling. In the top right-hand corner, that is the picture of Sir John Eccles, and on the bottom is Alan Hodgkin. Sadly, World War II broke out during the first year that Huxley was a clinical student in London. But due to medical teaching being put on hold, Huxley ended up becoming a significant help and conducted operational research in gunnery for the British Anti-Aircraft Command. He also developed radar control of anti-aircraft guns and naval gunnery, as well as contributing his efforts in helping Robert McCants and Elise Widdowson in physiological analysis of food rationings in the war. After the war, Huxley's fascination in microscopy stayed with him. He wanted to further advance his research in muscle contraction, and in order to do so, a new microscope was needed. Due to the fact he had prior experience on microscopes from his contribution to the war, he decided to build his own. His goal was to easily distinguish a single striated muscle fiber with greater precision. It was used to investigate the mechanism of contraction, which led to developing the sliding filament theory. Huxley developed an interference microscope to study striation patterns in isolated muscle fibers. This is what you see in the picture to the right. Huxley was not ready to stop his research on muscle fibers and muscle contraction. In 1952, after his work with Alan Hodgkins was published, he was then joined by Rolf Niederreich at Cambridge, and then discovered in 1954 the sliding filament theory. This theory explains muscle contraction and how muscle proteins slide past one another to generate movement. Even after those significant findings, there were still many more career advancements in Huxley's lifetime. He still carried out experiments with Hodgkins, which ended up helping to explain the effect of anesthesia on the human body and the identification of many genetic diseases. Their work also helped in design of prosthetic hands, arms, legs, and feet. Between 1950 and 1957, Huxley became an editor for the Journal of Physiology and the Journal of Molecular Biology. On March 15, 1955, he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society. Between 1960 and 1969, he became the Jordell Professor of Physiology at University of College in London. Then, on November 12, 1974, Huxley was knighted by the Queen Elizabeth II. Then, between 1969 and 1983, he became the Royal Society Research Professor in the Department of Physiology at UCL. In the years between 1980 and 1985, he was the President of the Royal Society, and then became the Master of Trinity College in 1984 to 1990. Then, Alan Hodgkin and Andrew Huxley taught at Trinity College at the Department of Physiology. On November 11, 1983, Huxley was appointed to the Order of Merit. He then wrote the book Reflections on Muscles, and also wrote the book The Pursuit of Nature, Informal Essays on the History of Physiology. Then, in 1964, he gave lectures at Columbia University on his knowledge. You are now knowledgeable of the great biophysicist and physiologist Andrew F. Huxley and his groundbreaking advancements in the progress of science involving the sliding filament theory, muscle conductions, and nerve impulses. Thank you again for watching my presentation and have a good day.